Changing tracks then, talking about the real estate sector, the case for chat over there is very significant. The Knight Frank report on realty highlights the first half of calendar year 2017. Vacancy has been the lowest since the global financial crisis. And, the slowdown that we've seen in the IT sector has, in a way, impacted because a lot of the purchases for real estate come in from IT professionals. That may have impacted the overall demand. But even so, the expectation is second half of calendar 2017 onwards, things may start looking up. Is that the case? That's what we will be asking J.C. Sharma, Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Sobha Developers. Mr. Sharma, it's great to have you on the show. Thanks very much for taking out the time. First, your reaction to Knight Frank's report that, this has been the lowest demand that we've seen since the global financial crisis, which basically means lack of confidence to go out there and purchase real estate.
Good morning. We have just come out with our operational data points only yesterday afternoon, and if you would notice that we have done reasonably well in our core market Bangalore, where we did sell 440 crore worth of in the last quarter alone, and approximately 600,000 square feet in volume. So while we do agree that this financial year definitely had begun with the RERA in mind, with GST, and if you look at this calendar year, the first quarter of this calendar year was also the first quarter post demonetization. But at the same time, we do also know that the underlying demand remains very strong, and people today, with the decline in interest rates and multiple benefits which this government has offered, they are indeed taking the call of buying a home, as is reflected in our numbers. So we are not unduly worried about such reports, and we do believe that post-RERA, post-GST, rather the demand for the real estate sector is likely to go up.
So are you telling us, Mr. Sharma, and I respect your operating numbers, that you are not feeling the heat?
Yeah.
So then who's feeling the heat?
We have not seen the results
of every builder sir I've spoken to, whether it is Godrej, Prestige, Kalpsaru in Mumbai, Lodha, which is a big builder in Mumbai, nobody is telling me there is a slowdown. But when I look at the aggregate demand, there is a slowdown. So are the smaller players who are getting crushed? Are the bigger players gaining because of larger, smaller players? What is the realistic scenario?
See, the realistic scenario is that RERA as well as the GST, definitely post-demonetized world will create lots of pressure on these small-time developers. All of us, we do agree that in times to come, if we do not have a strong cash flow, strong balance sheet, strong track record, and at the same time right products at the right price, the customers today in a digitized world, they are not going to take the call of buying from tented developers. So to that extent, if the demand is compressing as far as those developers are concerned, and the overall demand might have come down here and there a little bit, in my view, the benefits far outweigh these kind of challenges. And at the end of the day, looking at the commercial space absorption, which is happening all around India, and the new jobs still are being created in these growth centers or the cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Gurgaon, Pune and other cities, Hyderabad included. In my view, we need not have to get unduly worried, and we rather need to look at this sector with renewed vigor and optimism.
Right. Mr. Sharma, I'm just looking at some data points from the Q1 operations. The new sales stood at about 8 lakh square feet, up 12.5% year on year. Total value sold stood at 623 crores, up again 12%. Average realizations came in at roughly about 7,600 rupees per square feet. This is perhaps indicating that while sales may be happening, it's coming at a compromise on profitability or coming at a compromise on pricing. Pricing has been more subdued to your mind in view of pushing numbers on sales?
There is a point in what just now you have said. We do not have the pricing power to increase the prices of our products since last 3 years. But at the same time, if you look at the pricing trend, our average price realization in the last 2 quarters, they have become stable at around 7,000 and or 7,700, 7,600. So at the end of the day, what we have started witnessing that a product which was dream makers in our portfolio, which we were selling at around 5,500 or so, while it is still being sold, the other products also have started selling. And because we could not increase the prices, wherever there has been a price increase, of course to that an extent we had to absorb. But because of the increased volumes and increased revenue recognition, if you look at our financial numbers also, our operating margins as well as our net profit margins since last 3 quarters, they have clearly shown an upward trend. So net what I am trying to communicate is that the prices are stable. We have been able to overall keep the direct and indirect cost under control, and with this improved operational financials, operational performance, we will be also showing improved financial performance as well going forward.
Okay. Alright, Ms. Sharma, appreciate your time and glad you could join us. Markets are absolutely